Next time you go into the woods, walk aimlessly. Or sit still just for a minute. Feel the texture of a mossy bark. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Listen to the birdsong and feel with all your senses. What do you feel? Today I want to introduce you to forest bathing. It's a term that originated in the 1980s Japan called Shinrin Yoku, a practice of therapeutic relaxation and mindful breathing, where one spends time in a forest or any natural environment, being calm and quiet amongst trees, observing and focusing on sensory engagement while mindfully connecting with nature. The purpose was to offer an eco-antidote to tech boom burnout and to inspire people to reconnect with nature and protect the forests. While the studies and also my video will focus on the forest as a primary place of relaxation, in reality you can do this anywhere, in any natural environment. A city park, a field, a beach. But of course, a forest or an area with a high concentration of trees is most ideal. The reason is that trees absorb tons of carbon dioxide, making our air cleaner and cooler, so it's a perfect place for a calm, meditative walk and a breathing practice. As well as keeping our atmosphere rich in oxygen, they filter pollutants from the air, helping to improve our immunity. Research has shown that chemicals called phytoncides, released by plants and trees, strengthen our immune, hormonal, circulatory and nervous systems when we breathe them in. The purpose is to completely immerse yourself in the natural environment, taking some time out of your busy day to immerse yourself in a state of complete calm. With nowhere to go, no lists to check off, no daily 10K steps to reach in the health app of your phone. In fact, leave the phone alone. Don't distract yourself with books or cameras or goals. Do nothing just for a few moments. We give ourselves so little time to do nothing. Everything always has to be productive. It's simple, really, but so difficult to just sit still. I go to the woods often. It's a space where I feel most alive, away from the worries of the everyday routine. There is something so incredibly magical about being surrounded by tall, old trees. Sunlight gently glistening through the canopy, birds chirping in hundreds of voices, scents of many wildflowers mingling together in one sweet symphony. Over the past 3 years of living in the countryside, I've discovered my favorite paths where not so many other humans go. I found my favorite trees to sit under or climb on. Sometimes I go alone with a book or a journal. I sit on my favorite ancient oak and write bad poetry or read stories out loud. Sometimes, like today, I simply go to forest bathe and enjoy the solitude without any distraction. And other times, rarely, I show these paths to someone else. It's like Mary Oliver said, if you have ever gone to the woods with me, I must love you very much. Trees and forests play such a vital role in our lives and our environments. Unfortunately, nowadays, not that many of us have access to wooded areas. It's a sad reality how far over the years we've gone away from the natural world. Forest bathing, while a practice that is centered on looking inwards towards your senses, can be a lovely practice of learning and reconnecting with nature. Understanding its effects and importance, and maybe eventually leading to appreciation and preservation of the beautiful natural world around us and its impact on our mental health. Going back about 6,000 years ago, Britain was largely covered by a thick woodland, populated by lynxes, wolves and bears. The first sign of deforestation in Britain began around 4000 BC, and by 500 BC, around 50% of the native woods have been cut down in favor of agriculture and livestock. The numbers are alarming today, really, as only 13% of forests cover Britain nowadays. That's already a double from the Victorian times. But half of them are non-native species, largely conifer plantations, and only 5% are the ancient woodlands dating back to the 17th century. This woodland I am in today is comprised of many natural habitats and patches of heathland, young woodland, ponds, swamps, and a small part of ancient woods. The description of ancient woodland refers to the woods that are at least 400 years old. One of the common indicators of it are the bluebells, and Britain has 50% of the world's amount. They appear as if out of nowhere every April. An incredible sight, blue glimmer spreading across forest floor like an ocean, sweet, subtle scent permeating through the air. They say fairies live amongst these delicate flowers, mischievous creatures trapping and leading humans astray. If you hear a bluebell ring, that means there is an evil fairy nearby. If you pick a bluebell or trample over it, you will be led astray by fairies wandering lost forevermore. Life always seems to be going in cycles, doesn't it? From the sea air prescription during the Victorian era to forest bathing as an antidote to tech boom burnout in the 80s Japan, to the rise of cottagecore and slow living movements in the modern day. The cyclical nature of life fascinates me, but also shows how we never really learn from our mistakes. We seem to move away from nature only to find the longing for it again within the walls of concrete cities. In fact, nature seems to have become a privilege. I moved to the countryside only 3 years ago, and I have been practicing forest bathing purposefully for the past 6 months, ever since yet another burnout in October last year. As a highly sensitive person, the impact of everything that goes on around me, whether it's the world events, emotions or troubles of other people, or worries of my own, appears to affect me on a physical and emotional level quite deeply. I am prone to burnout, not just from the digital noise, but from my own highly sensitive and perpetually loud mind. Some of the closest woodlands to me are located about 15 to 20-minute drive away. With the recent winds and rainfall, it's become increasingly more difficult to drag myself out, make myself step out of the comfort of my own four walls. But I know that for me, there is no better cure than nature. I've known that subconsciously when I lived in London too, and considered myself closely tied to the city for the rest of my life. A walk in a small park amongst the ancient sycamores seemed to cure many anxieties in those city days. Whether it's 5 minutes or an hour of your day, I hope you too can find a spot in nature where you can simply sit still with your senses just for a while. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time.